Hello there, and welcome to today's webinar, Collaboration with Book Creator. I am so excited that you are joining us today. Before we officially get started, I'd love for you to find the Go To Webinar control panel on the right-hand side of your screen. So if you're joining us live today, you should see that Go To Webinar control panel. And if it disappeared for some reason, there might just be a little orange arrow for you to open it back up. Now, if you can go ahead and find the questions area, I'd love to give it some shout outs to make sure that you can hear me and see my screen. So in the questions area, feel free to type your name and where you're from so I can give some shout outs and it'll help me make sure that you can hear me and that you can see my screen. Well, hello, Mary. Excited that you're here. Welcome, Lynette and Abby and Sandra. So many folks here today. Brian from Maui, welcome. Denise from Oklahoma, welcome. I'm trying to get to everyone here. Nicole from Portland, welcome. Catherine, welcome. Liz in Minnesota and Julie from Auburn, Alabama. Welcome, welcome. So excited to have so many folks here. Angie from Miami and Mary is here. Patricia from Toasty, Arizona. Let me tell you, it is toasty here today in New Jersey. And I think I used that word earlier today to describe it, but I'm pretty sure you have me beat either way. Welcome, Angie from Miami and Rosita from sunny Florida. Welcome, welcome everyone as this list is growing. Um, so many folks here joining us today. Mary from Michigan, awesome. Really pumped that you all are here for today's webinar. If we haven't met before, my name is Monica Burns, and I am leading today's webinar for Book Creator all about collaboration. And we are going to get into it live today. I'm hoping you will participate and try it out with us so that you can take part in some live collaboration. Now, if you know that you have to jump off this webinar a little bit early, or there's someone that you work with who was hoping to join us live and can't make it, don't worry. I am recording this whole webinar. It'll go up on Book Creator's YouTube channel very soon so that you'll have the link so that if I move through a little bit quickly and you want to slow it down or pause, you'll have that YouTube link to check out so that you can share it with someone else if you get really excited, or that you can just go back and refer back to it later on in the school year. Book Creator is fantastic at making sure that everything is up and available on their YouTube channel. So you'll be able to access it there as well. Now, I am doing double duty today, so you might see my slides moving on the left-hand side as I switch back and forth to Book Creator on the web and the slide deck, and I'll pause and peek in on the question box as we go through today. So we are going to jump in to what is, I believe it's number 4 now on our list of 10 summer webinars. We're really excited to give these to you, and I'm so pumped to have partnered with the folks at Book Creator to host these webinars for them this summer. Now, if we haven't met before, my name is Monica Burns. I am a Book Creator ambassador, a big fan of what you can do with Book Creator in the classroom. I am an ed tech and curriculum consultant and former New York City public school teacher. I'm founder of ClassTechTips.com, so you might have found the webinar if you're a follower of my blog, or you might have followed along on Instagram at Class Tech Tips. I know I was giving some updates earlier today, making sure people remembered about this webinar on a summer afternoon so that they could join here. And of course, if you are using Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or whatever your favorite social media platform is, you are welcome to snap pictures, to tag me at Class Tech Tips, to share your thoughts using the hashtag Book Creator or tagging at Book Creator app so that we can see all the things you are excited about too. So we are going to talk today about a few different things that fall underneath this title, this umbrella of collaboration with Book Creator. We'll start off with a quick overview of Book Creator. We'll talk about the importance of collaboration more generally and a few different collaborative models that you might explore with your students. We'll talk about some real time collaboration, what that looks like with Book Creator, and we'll also go into a few collaborative project ideas you might explore. And although I'm going to peek in at that Q&A box over the course of our webinar today, so you can always plug in your questions even as I'm talking, we'll have some time carved out at the very end for Q&A. And those of you who've joined with me in the past know that I'm always happy to answer questions via email after the webinar. So if you're watching the recording of this, you can always send an email my way or to the folks at Book Creator and ask any additional questions you might have with them too. So I'd love to hear from you in the question box right now. How many of you have used Book Creator before? Is Book Creator new to you? I want to give you a little bit of an overview, but I love to hear if you've used Book Creator before or if this is a totally new tool that you're adding to your EdTech tool belt. You can go ahead and add that to the question box. So I see there's some folks who've used it before, used it a little bit before. Some of you have used it a lot, where others it's a totally new tool. Some of you have used it every year. Others have said they've never used it before or brand new to it. So no matter where you are today, I'm so excited that you are here because I'm going to do a quick overview of Book Creator just to get you a feel for some of the features. It's a very intuitive tool. I love sharing it and demoing it with teachers and with students. I share it all the time. And if you are feeling like you want a little bit more of a getting started kind of support, you'll just want to head over to Book Creator's YouTube channel. I started off the summer webinar series with getting hands-on with Book Creator, which is perfect for those of you using it for the very first time who want some extra support. So just know that if I move through something today or skip over a feature that you want to know more about, there's lots of information on the YouTube channel that Book Creator has set up. So Book Creator is an open-ended creation tool for iOS, like the iPad you see below, and for Chrome. It's open-ended, meaning that there's no one way to use it. You can have students and yourself creating all sorts of books with all sorts of features for all sorts of subject areas throughout the school year. Students and teachers can use Book Creator to create and publish books on a variety of topics. It might be a book that they publish online for the whole world to see, or they export as an EPUB file so that they can read it on devices in their school. Lots of options. Now, Book Creator is super simple and makes interactive pages a possibility no matter what topic you are working with. It allows you to combine voice, text, video, images, and more onto each page. So really so much you can do with Book Creator. Students of all ages can use Book Creator, and we'll talk about what some of that support might look like when you're working with different students. And teachers can create libraries for students, which is what we are going to talk about today with this idea of collaboration in the classroom, creating a library, inviting students in, and then turning on collaboration so students can collaborate in real time. So that open-ended creation tool for iOS and Chrome, we are going to focus on the Chrome web browser. I'm on my MacBook today, but we're going to look at this on the Chrome web browser. So I'm going to encourage you today to open up the Chrome web browser on whatever device you're working on so that you can join in on some of this real-time collaboration with me. Students and teachers can create and publish books, interactive pages with lots of features, great for kids of all ages, and teachers can now create libraries and invite their students in. So Book Reader could be used in lots of different ways across subject areas: digital portfolios, poetry books, step-by-step guides, science reports, learning journals, comic books, you name it, there's so much you can do. And so today, this webinar, we are focusing in on collaboration in the classroom with Book Reader. And I want to share with you 3 different types of collaborative models or ways to infuse collaboration in the classroom that's featured in my book, Tasks Before Apps. The first one is remote collaboration. So students work on individual devices to contribute to a single shared creation. That's what we're going to try out today. I'm hoping you'll jump in and participate with me today for this, trying this remote collaboration. If you've used Google Docs before, that's what we're talking about here. People getting on their own device and contributing to one creation. Role-based collaboration is another thing you can do with Book Creator. You'll hear me talk about it today, although we're going to model the remote one live together. So we'll participate in that one. Students could work on individual devices to complete assigned tasks for a group project. So this might be something where you're doing a class ABC book with all the words that have to do with the ecosystem you're studying. And you might have students each take a letter and each make one page, and then you combine all of their pages. So that's what our role-based collaboration would look like. And then of course there's shared screen collaboration where students work together in pairs to complete a task using one device. This is great, not just if you are low on devices, so not quite one-to-one, but because it requires students to lean over a screen together, talk about what they're going to add to their page, and really have a conversation about what's going on their screen. So all of these collaborative models are awesome and important things that not one is better than the other, but having a combination of them over the school year is great. And you can do a combo of them with Book Creator too. So before we jump in to talk about different types of collaboration and projects, I want to ask you a question. How do your students work together to show what they know? So what are some ways students are collaborating, maybe in different activities or things that they're doing that show off to you what they know or understand, but also give them an opportunity to work together? You can go ahead and share your answer in that question box, and I'll give some shout outs as we go through. So if you have some activities or ways that your kids have worked together to show what they know, go ahead and share them. Abby shared that her students typically use Google Slides in groups, so that's awesome. Jackie shared about class games and group writing activities. Julie shared about novel trailers and Google Slides, and of course, I'm trying my best with name pronunciations when you're not right here in the room with me. But so thank you for bearing with me as I give some shout outs to some of the things that you shared. So Caroline shared some ways that students are collaborating with ClassLab within Smart Notebooks, so having those kind of collaborative conversations or responses. Mira shared about using Book Creator with some book tasting in different groups, and I'm going to give you a shout out in just a moment, actually. So super excited that you are here joining us on the webinar today. So let's go ahead, and what a wonderful segue for some of the spotlights that we have to share with you today. On the blog, you'll see that Book Creator has featured some fantastic teacher stories. I put the full link down there at the bottom, but if you go to Book Creator's website, you'll be able to head straight to their blog and see some of these great stories, including Mira's here about hosting a book tasting in her classroom. So, a great way to have kids take a look at what other students are excited about, even to create collaborative books of all their favorite things over the course of the school year, whether it's in the reading classroom or something that they love in a different part of the school day. Another blog spotlight to share is from Beth Holland. She did a great overview of how and the six C's connect to the collaborative features we're going to talk about today in Book Creator. So you can find that right from Book Creator's website. And this is giving you a sneak peek at what we're going to participate and talk about today. And then Jason Sand has a great blog post as well about something that falls more into the role-based collaboration model that we talked about, where students in second grade and students in 11th grade collaborated to create a book with shared pages where they could show off what they were working on in their different places. So lots of ways to use this in the classroom. So today when we talk about real-time collaboration, I want you to know that collaboration is a paid feature in Book Creator. There's lots you can do with Book Creator for free, including combining pages, and that might be perfect for you to do for your first go of collaboration in the free version of Book Creator. They do have a 14-day trial, and when I turn on or show you how to access collaboration today in my paid version, that's where you'll see the button and it'll prompt you to try out Collaborate. So it is a paid feature. It's only available on Chrome, but I think you're absolutely going to love it. And if you are using the free version of Book Creator right now, I definitely encourage you to try out that 14-day free trial and also think about some of the other collaborative ideas that we'll talk about today that fall fall into the other collaborative categories of kids creating pages on their own or sharing a screen, which would not be the real time collaboration and would fall just into a different category. So today we'll talk about the real-time collaboration and model it, but I will also talk about some other types of collaboration, like combining books, sharing a screen, brainstorming, and even providing feedback on different work that's happening in the classroom. So what I'm going to take you through right now is the model for what it looks like to get started. Then we're going to try it out together so that you can participate as well. So today, when we talk about collaboration, remember we are in the Chrome web browser on our device. I'm going to take you out to my Chrome web browser in just a moment, and we are going to first be inside of our shared library space. When you have a library and you invite students to join that library, they can then easily share their work with you. You can then review student progress so you can see what kids have understood or what they've contributed to a particular page, and you can give feedback in real time. So this is something you can do with the free version of Book Creator, up to 40 books for your class, or the paid version with more and more books for your group of students. All of these things will happen today through the Teacher Share Library. So if you look in the chat box on the GoToWebinar control panel, it's probably all at the very bottom for you. You'll see that I wrote you a note about how excited I was to have you here with us today, and I put in a link for app.bookcreator.com. So if you're not there already, you'll want to open this up in a new tab in your web browser so that you can play along with us today. Now, if you are joining us from a device where you're not really, you're just kind of listening in today, don't worry. You don't have to participate if you don't want to. If you're watching the recording of this, you are welcome to, jump in and take a look at what we've created. No pressure. I just like to give you the opportunity to get hands on while we're all here together live today. So before we jump in and try this out, I'd love for you to use that question box again of when could you use a real-time collaboration in your classroom? When might you want all of your students to work on the same book at the same time? Or 5 or 6 of your students to work on the same book at the same time? Share some of your initial thoughts and ideas in that question box. And I'll resend you the link so it gets back into the chat so that you can have that app.bookcreator.com. So I can see now you're thinking about some ideas. Mary shared about some group projects. Abby shared about having a class favorites book, which you could do at any time of the school year, right? Catherine shared about reviewing for upcoming assessments that might take place. Maria Anna shared about collaborative writing. So lots of ways you could use this real-time collaboration feature. So I'm going to first take you through the steps to get started, just using some pictures and talking over them. And then we're going to go out to the Chrome web browser so you can really see it in action. So let's jump in and let's try it together. What you first will want to do is to sign in at app.bookcreator.com. I'm already signed in here, and this is where I'm going to take you out to the live demo in just a moment. When you go to app.bookcreator.com on your Chrome web browser, you'll see that it prompts first for students to sign in, making it easy for kids to not get confused. However, you are going to want to tap on where it says Teacher Sign In, and this will give you the option to sign in with your email, with Google, with Office 365, and even with Clever. So today, in order to participate in the collaborative, the real-time collaboration we're going to do, you do not need to have the paid feature because I have the paid feature and I'm going to invite you in to my paid account. So you can sign up today totally for free, use Google Single Sign-In, get into your book creator like you normally would, and then I am going to invite you in using a special code in just a moment. So what we'll do is after you're signed in and after I sign in, I see my whole teacher dashboard. I see my books that I use, things I share with others, things that I've done in different professional development settings over the past year. And then I have a special library for us today called Real-Time Collaboration. And when I set this up for you before the webinar, it was totally empty. And so all I had to do to get you into the library was to hit the button invite code, and then it gives you the code to join into the library. Don't worry, I'm going to give this to you again in a moment, so you don't have to worry about jotting it down. I'm also going to put the code to the library in the chat box down at the bottom of the screen, so you'll be able to find it later too. But I'll give this to you again after we go through. So remember, I have my teacher dashboard. I go to the library I've set up. I hit the invite code. I get the invite code for you to share with you. And then I can go ahead and create this new book like you see up here at the top of the screen. So what I did was I created a new book using the landscape option. I typically use landscape because it fills up my whole screen and makes it easier for everyone to see. Then I put a title, Our Collaborative Book, and changed up the font to make sure it was just right, and the colors, it was just to make sure it was just right. And then I had our book ready for us. So I added this book to the library, and you'll see it right here as well. So I'm going to jump back over here. So this is where my book is right now. And in order to get you inside of the library, and able to collaborate on one book all together. I made the book and then I hit the share button and tapped on where it says collaborate. This is where you would see the prompt for the 14-day free trial if you don't have the paid version. Now, I can then go to start collaboration. This is going to allow everyone in the library to have access to the book and edit it at the same time. But because I am the one who authored the book, I can turn on and off collaboration at any time. Once I turn it on, there's a special little icon that indicates that this one is open and ready for collaboration. So I want us to jump in and join in. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some collaborative ebooks and some ideas that you can use. But at the same time, I'm hoping that you will head over to app.bookcreator.com and log in so that I can invite you in to participate in our collaborative book. So while I go through and talk a little bit about some collaborative models, you'll want to head over to app.bookcreator.com and sign in so that I can then invite you in to our collaborative book to work on together during the webinar today. So some ideas for collaborative ebooks to keep in mind as we get ready to participate in our live collaboration is to have students do a few different activities. This might include recapping moments from a field trip or class book recommendations. It might include some small group research reports or some whole class reflections. You name it. It really comes down to what you would like your students to accomplish this school year. If you are doing a whole group collaboration like we're going to try out today, you'll probably want every student to have their own page. You might ask students to locate or upload images. You might ask each child to add their voice or text to their page, and even remind them to peek at pages of a partner and give some feedback. So, totally up to you. If you are doing small group collaboration, you might have students develop a plan of action, like who's going to be in charge of what, and then they can divide and conquer or sit side by side to create. Students should pause and offer feedback, and they can use the audio buttons, the text notes, or any of the kind of conversational items, right, to participate in those discussions and to share that way too. So let's try it. I'm super excited to have you join in this live demo with us today. So if you're joining us live, I'm crossing my fingers that a lot of you will participate with us today. Here is my collaborative book, and I'm going to give you this invite code again. So it's 2BJZL. You might want to jot this down, or you might just want to remember that I put it here in the chat. So what you will do is when you are here in your dashboard, you will go down to the bottom where it says join a library. So you're logged in, you have your teacher dashboard, and down at the bottom, you'll go to where it says join a library. And that's where you'll put in my code 2BJZL. So I'll show you this process a couple times so that you can join in. Remember, I'm here in my library. I see a couple people are in here already. Oh, wow. Awesome. Okay, good. So you're going to, if you're not here already and you're in a library you've made, hit the three lines here, scroll down to the bottom, go to join a library and enter that code that I put in the chat box, and then you'll be able to collaborate on the book. So let's see. I see all of you already who are in here. Now, when I come back up here to pages, you can see that there are 2 pages already, and I might insert a couple more pages, or you might decide to insert pages too. What I'm hoping you're going to do today is to grab a page, and if you're on the page, you'll see other people pop up if they're there too. Bethany's with me here, Rosita's with me here. So you can grab a page and hit the plus sign, use the text tool, and maybe write your name on the page. Maybe search for a picture if you want to. Maybe use the text button and the voice to text to talk about one thing that you're excited about with Book Creator or a collaborative idea you have. So you might add it here and say, one thing I'm excited about for collaboration with Book Creator is to have students share their favorite books. So I started talking before I was really ready. So I'm going to change it like that and add this here to the page. So I can put this down. Someone in here has already changed the color, which is awesome. Now, if you want your own page, you're going to go up here to the very top, and some of you are already on it, right? You've gone ahead and added more pages. You've inserted the one that's just for you. Now, I am letting us run wild today, and I'm sure you're already have your wheels spinning about what you would or wouldn't do with your own group of students. Now, of course, you would have some different norms, like you might say, okay, I'm going to count you off, and this is your page number, or you might set up a template ahead of time. But as I'm watching here, I can see who's on which page, and I can take a peek. I can look at what someone else has done and maybe leave some audio feedback on their page. Lynette's working here on this page. I can go through and see who's working on other pages. Abby is here playing with some of the new awesome drawing tools. So there's a lot that you can do here as well. So you should have a few different options here for kind of joining in and looking at what's here on the screen. So I'm going to come back out here to the big pages view so I can take a higher level peek, and you can see that you're all kind of playing around, checking out the different pieces. Once you're inside, you do have the power to move what someone else has made. So that's why you'll want to set up some norms for your class when it comes to who's in charge of what. You might say to yourself that, wow, I do not want all 30 of my fourth graders working on the same book at the same time. So as you work in here, what you might do, and I'll come back to my books here, is to make a new book for each group. So you might start a book here and you might say that this is going to be for group number 1. And so then you have group number 1's book, and they know that this is theirs. So when they jump in, they go to their book as opposed to jumping into the big book that we're all working on together here. So if you see here that collaboration is turned on, I could always turn off collaboration if I wanted to, but of course I'm going to keep it on for us today. I'm going to go back into edit mode, and I'm going to encourage you, if you haven't already, to make your own page to try out some of the pieces here. I love this, Mira. Awesome use of your Bitmoji there. You might also go into a page and use the plus sign and try out some of the new pen features if you haven't already, so that you can draw on the screen with some of the new features here from Book Creator. All the new emojis that you can add, and lots of fun things behind the pen tool. So if you haven't used Book Creator in the past few weeks, you might not know about some of these new features, but this is what you can do to kind of jump in as well. So I'm going to come back out here and make sure that you are familiar with this pathway that I took. So if you're inside this book of our collaborative book, when you go to a page, and you can do this on any page here, So you might choose your own page or jump in to collaborate with someone else. You hit the plus sign up here, and this is where you will see all the editing tools. So this is what allows you to use the pen tool, add text, record your voice, snap a picture, import a picture, or even add some shapes to your page. I hope you don't mind, Rosita. I've added one right here to your page, oval or circle, however I want to leave it right there. So this is where you'll see all the editing tools for this as well. When I come back out here to my books, remember I did not turn on collaboration for this book. I did turn on collaboration for this book. That's where you can see this right here at the top of the screen. If I want to turn on collaboration, I'm going to go to the share button right here, hit collaborate, and it will allow anyone who's in this library, which is all of who are right here joining me inside of this library, it will allow all of you to collaborate on this book too. It also allows you to create a new book and just add it to this library if you wanted to. Of course, we're talking about real-time collaboration today, so I'm hoping you'll spend a little bit more time as well here. Now, if you haven't used Book Creator before and you're wondering, like, how did someone change the background of their page? How is that something that someone can do or change up? And you see that a bunch of people have gone ahead and played around with this too. All you have to do when you have your page, I'm going to come back out here and go ahead and make a new one here. So when you go and add your new page, all you have to do, let me see, here it is hit the inspector button and it will allow you to choose one of the backgrounds on the page. So if you see someone doing something really cool on one of their pages, like if you come back out here, we'll come back to our big pages pieces here, and you go to mirrors here and you go to the plus sign and you say something like, I want to leave a recording, and ask them, how did they get this Bitmoji on their page? I can start the recording. I love what you both have done. How did you add your Bitmoji to the page? And so I can add the recording, it'll pop here on their page, and they'll be able to play it back and hear me with my recording. And they might answer my question with another audio, or they might type their answer. So many ways to collaborate here as well, whether you're bringing in some morning work for students or asking them all to respond, or you just want them to give feedback to their peers. This provides a lot of opportunities. So as you are playing along in here, and I'm taking a peek at what you're working on and creating, this is a great time to add some questions to the question box if there's something you're wondering about, especially that, how do they do that? Or what about this? Any of those questions you might have, you can go ahead and add it in, and then we'll come back out and talk a little bit more about the teacher library and some extra resources to help you take this to the next level. But okay, good. So I see some folks jumping in, changing up the backgrounds to their pages. Awesome. If you're watching this live with us, and you of course can put in any questions that you have. And if you're watching the recording of this on YouTube after it's gone live, you can always add your questions to the comments in YouTube, or reach out as well if you have a question too. So Maria asked about moving books to another email account. So if you have created books in your book creator account, and then maybe you set up another book creator account, your best bet is probably going to be to go to where you, let's come back out here, to our option here of, I would say, going first to download your ebook as an EPUB file, and then when you open up your new library, then importing that book will then add it into your library. So that might be one way that you want to do that as well. So Nicole asked a great question about how many students can you invite to collaborate? Now I have to tell you, this last fall, I asked the folks at Book Creator, I asked them the same question, how many students can collaborate at once, because I was hosting a live workshop and I knew there would be almost 100 people people in the room. And they said that there wasn't a limit. So unless that has changed, there is no limit that I know of for getting people inside because I've had dozens and dozens of people in at once. However, you're going to realize, just like with us today, having a lot of people inside of here can get a little messy, right? So it might be a little unorganized. If you're working with students, you may want them to be in an environment that's a little less kind of all over the place or moving so quickly, it might be overwhelming to them. So you would probably limit it to your group of kids, at least if many of them working kind of in real time as well. With the paid version of Book Creator, you can make 10 libraries, and each library can hold 100 books. So you can make lots and lots of books with the paid version of Book Creator as well. I'm going to check in and see if there's any other questions. Otherwise, just like you can, I can go ahead and peek through and see some of the things that everyone is working on and has created in here, pulling in some pictures. So love all of this real-time piece. Love all these Bitmojis. I need to get my Bitmoji game back on for this upcoming school year. Love the use of the pen tool and some of the new auto draw feature. So lots of great stuff here that you are adding to your page. I love this, how you put both the question and the answer. I'll go ahead and play that for us here. Let's see. Oop, I clicked on the wrong piece. I'm just going to go ahead and pull this down here. Let's go ahead and listen.
I went to media and then I went to import and I found the image in my Google Drive.
Awesome. So look how quickly that collaboration happened in real time. So awesome to see this in action so that you can get a feel for what this back and forth might look like. So you can collaborate on books with anyone that you want. So many good ideas, right, coming through. I love that here. So lots of ways that you could use something like this to love and loving all these Bitmojis. And of course, you can always um, add your handles here too if you want people to come find you if you've made something great and you want them to follow along with the work that you are doing as well. So one question came in about students having permission to delete and move pages around. So yep, if you turn on collaboration, it's just like in Google Docs where anyone can do anything inside of it. So you want to prep your kids with that conversations about what your norms are going to be, but this is a great way for them to practice their digital citizenship skills as well. If you want to insert speech bubbles and add text to it in Book Reader, you can absolutely do that. A question just came in about that as well. I'll go back to my silly page here. Let's see that I was working on. So in order to do that, let's see if I can find mine here. You would go to the plus sign, go to shapes, and then you can pull in your speech bubbles like this. You can also add text to it. So you can put text right on top of it. So it might put my thought bubble or my talk bubble text. And then I can add that right on top of here as well. So lots of options for this too. So I'm going to encourage you to keep playing around with these pages. I want to review some of the collaborative models and let you know about some things that you may want to consider as you are jumping into some of these activities together today. So we started off this webinar session talking about collaboration in the classroom in 3 different models. You can use this remote collaboration the same way that we are doing real-time collaboration today, where students, just like you did, can work on their own devices in different time zones like we were today, or in their own devices sitting side by side in the same classroom to contribute to a single shared creation. And you heard lots of great ideas from the awesome educators joining us live today. You might have students share a favorite book that they've read, a strategy that they like to use to solve a math problem, a prediction they have for a science experiment, and make that book together remotely on their own device, but in real time. Or, of course, you might have students make one page on their own without any collaboration and then combine them, which would be a way to do our role-based collaboration. Or you might have students sit side by side and then they are working on that same page together. So totally up to you with how you set it up. So remember, when we go through this process together, you will sign in first as a teacher, setting up your account just like you signed in today. Then when you are in your library, you will choose one of your libraries and you will decide which one or all of them where you want to turn on collaboration for certain books. But remember, you first have to invite your kids using that invite code, just like I gave you this code to join into the book today. So you'll get that code first. All your kids have to be in the library. Then you would create a book that you want everyone to collaborate on. So going through all the processes of setting up your title page, maybe adding extra pages and even stamping it or putting each student's name on it, or at least knowing that you've made enough numbers so that you can count off the kids so that they each have their own page. Then when you're back out in your library view here, you're going to hit that share button down at the bottom, hit collaborate so that it turns on collaboration. You'll say yes, that you are starting collaboration. And then when you know that you are good to go, you'll see this little icon in the top. You can always click on that icon and turn off collaboration if you want to. I'm not going to do that to us today because we're having so much fun inside of it. And so that's something that you'll want to think about as well. And a question came in about editing, and students can edit each other's work or jump in, right? So having some norms with what collaboration will look like in your classroom is going to be super important with that piece too. So when we went in to go ahead and try it together, all you had to do was scroll to the bottom of your dashboard and add my code. So when you come back out here, I'll show you again. Down here at the bottom, you'll go to join a library and you'll be able to jump back in to any library. Here I am able to see exactly who is here inside working on this. And if I decide that I want to remove someone or promote them to a co-teacher, I have the option to do that too, but of course they'd have to join my library using my special invite code. Now, if I wanted to expire this code so that someone watching the recording of this webinar couldn't jump in and work on it, I could hit the expire button so that this code would no longer work. Just so you know, that is an option when it comes to kind of setting up this collaboration piece. So a few things to think about, and this is a great time for you to add any more questions that you have to the question box before we wrap up today, is that to set up and share a library, you first create a library, you find the invite code, and then you share that library with students. They use that code to join in. We didn't talk about it today, but your kids can sign in the same way you did, right, using Google Single Sign-On, or if you're working with kids that don't have email addresses, they can use a QR code to join in the library as well. So totally up to you. Now, there are lots of extra resources on Book Creator's website to help you jump into these activities we talked about today. Remember, I'm recording this webinar so that you are able to watch it at a later date, slow down some of the steps I mentioned. And when you find it on YouTube's Book Creator's YouTube channel, you'll also see the getting started or getting hands-on with Book Creator webinars that'll take you through some of the steps like adding text to the page, adding audio. It'll slow it down for you in some of those other resources you'll find online. Book Creator's monthly free newsletter has lots of activities and shout outs to ways that you can use Book Creator in the classroom with some seasonal content, perfect for some of the themes you might be working on with your students. They also have a free Facebook group for Book Creator teachers. I highly encourage you, if you are using Facebook, even if you use Facebook personally and not professionally so much, if you go to Facebook and you type in Book Creator Teachers in the search bar at the top of the screen, it will show you the Book Creator Teachers group. If you join this free Facebook group, it is full of ideas and resources. There's also the monthly Twitter chats, which you can participate in collaborative book creation, just like we did today. So you might find that of interest. And then, of course, there's the free newsletter and Book Creator's awesome support page, which takes you step by step common questions that you might come across as well. So all things to consider. Before we jump into the Q&A, and I see some questions coming in now, just so you know, Book Creator has created tons of free ebooks, just so many resources. And I've had a chance to help author a couple of these, including the 15 science projects and the reading response one that you see there. We did a webinar just last month all about reading responses, and you could watch the video for it, or you could check out the ebook too. So totally up to you. All of those are available on Book Creator's website as well as in the teacher dashboard. If you go to the resources section, you'll see all resources by grade level, by subject area, and then all of those books I mentioned below, as well as a quick link to join the Facebook group, as well as some getting started activities right down there as well. So lots of options for professional learning for yourself, extending what we're doing today. Now, I want to make sure I get to as many questions that have popped up as possible. Remember, if I don't get to your question or you think of something later, you can always reach out via email, either on social as well. So lots of ways to connect with me and the team at Book Creator. So if you want to create a table of contents, there are some resources on Book Creator's website. Jennifer asked about this. You'll want to create a page at the very beginning of your book and then link out to the other pages using the number of the page to create your table of contents. Um, Brian asked about students using the collaborative features on a Chrome browser on the iPad. So if you are using the Chrome browser on an iPad, you shouldn't have any trouble replicating what we did today. The Book Creator app itself won't support the collaboration, but definitely encourage you to try it out on the Chrome app that you would download from the App Store on iPad. It should work for you pretty well. Every time I've used it, I haven't had any trouble. If you are on an iPad mini, it might give you some trouble with just the screen size, but try it out no matter what your device is. But you're right, you'll want to do it on the Chrome app inside of an iPad. Another question came in about turning off editing rights to students after they've worked on a project. I definitely encourage you, if you would like to turn off the collaboration feature after a project is complete, that's a nice way to just be done with it, right? And make sure that no one goes in there by accident or takes or changes anything as well. If you want to delete a book that your kids have made or that you have made, a question came in about that as well. All you have to do is go down here to the bookshelf button and hit delete book. I'm not going to do that because I know some of you are still plugging along and working within this space today, but that's how you would do it. You would hit delete ebook, a delete book, and that would get rid of it for you on Chrome as well. Another question came in about getting certificates for viewing for today. If you reach out to the folks at Book Creator, they may be able to help you with that as well. Just so that'll be the people to ask for about that as well. So when you invite students in, Maria asked a question about that. You will invite them into the whole library, and then you will decide if the books are going to be available for them to collaborate on, or if they're just going to work on their own book as well. So we're coming to the end of our time together today, and I want you to know that there are still 6 more webinars, including 2 this month. Later this month, we're going to talk about, or I should say just next week, we're going to talk about social studies and Book Creator with some project ideas. Then I'm going to give you an overview of all of the new features, the must-try updates to Book Creator later in July, along with the others that you see listed here. So really excited to help bring these to you. And if you are joining us live, do not worry. The recording of this will go up on Book Creator's YouTube channel. If you're watching the recording and you still have questions, you can reach out to the folks at Book Creator or reach out to me so that we can help you make sure that you are bringing collaboration into your classroom with Book Creator this year. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your summer and that you'll join us for an upcoming webinar.